You know, it's going to be a war, you know, and I think Canelo will win. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he won't, you know, say do not get it twisted. Canelo is the heavy favorite, as he should be. But I see a lot of people saying that, oh, well, it sucks seeing a fight that's we already know the outcome and it's so predictable.
Shut up, bitch.
Most fights have a favorite. Like, what boxing do you watch? Most fights have a favorite, and some fights have upsets. In fact, coincidentally, there's a freaking category called Upset of the Year because upsets do occur in boxing. Was it Tyson versus Buster Douglas? Did anybody have Buster Douglas winning? No, that was an upset. What about Lennox Lewis versus Hasim Rahman when Hasim Rahman packed up Lennox Lewis? Yes, Lennox Lewis came back and got his revenge and avenged his loss. But did anybody anticipate Rahman to pack up Lennox Lewis like that the first time? No. You know what I'm saying? What about Tim Bradley versus Pacquiao? Yes, I had Pacquiao winning. I had Pacquiao beating Tim Bradley the first time. It was quote unquote a robbery, but technically on paper, it was a close fight. Why? Because nobody expected Tim Bradley to hang in there and last as long as he did. In fact, Tim Bradley being in the Hall of Fame, shout out to Tim Bradley, is primarily because of his wins on who? Juan Manuel Marquez, a Hall of Famer, and Manny Pacquiao, a Hall of Famer. My thing is, if you're not interested in that fight for real, don't play about it, be about it. Boycott it. Boycott it. I bet you won't boycott it. You know why you won't boycott it? Because nigga, you was a bitch. It's a damn good fight.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Dr. PG, NGM, Praise God to Get Money. Back for another YouTube video. Banger, man. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Y'all know what time it is. The doctor's in the house. Hey, today we got quite a little bit to talk about. I'm going to try to keep it quick. You know, I'm going to try. But you know my thing. I'm loquacious. You know how that go.
Okay, well, so check this out, though. First of all, you throwing too many big words at me. Okay, now, because I don't understand them, I'm going to take them as disrespect. Watch your mouth.
But look, man, I am a pugilist enthusiast, so I want to talk about this boxing stuff, man. You know the streets. You know, we the streets. You know what I'm saying? We are the streets, and the streets been talking, and your boys been listening. You know what I'm saying? You know my team, so I'm been listening, so I got some stuff I want to talk about. But first off, I was watching the Wednesday night fights on Pro Box TV, and I saw Nicholas Walters, man. I said, wait, Nicholas Walters? Last time I see him, Lomachenko had them all retired. I think like the 5th or 6th round, I can't remember. But I really like Nicholas Walters, man. So apparently he's back. That was years ago. I want to say that's like 6 years ago. So apparently he's back, you know, on the comeback trail. So big up Jamaica, man. Let's go, man. Shout out to Nicholas Walters, man. I really like the Axeman. But look, so today, man, you know, like I said, the streets been talking, and there've been a lot of complaints about the Canelo versus Munguia fight. You know, which rightfully so, because anybody that Canelo fights that's not named Benavidez is going to be seen as, you know, say a terrible fight. It's not what we want. It's not what we, of course, all of us, including myself, I desperately want to see Benavidez versus Canelo. However, I'm not one of those that think that Canelo's legacy depends on it. But I do. The one thing I will knock Canelo for is holding those belts hostages. Yeah, hostages. Holding those belts hostage. And I feel like if you're holding those belts hostage, man, that's the wrong thing to do. But once again, we got to direct our anger in the proper place. It's not his fault. If he's able to not fight his mandatory, that's the whole point of being mandated, is that you have to fight somebody, and the sanctioned bodies are allowing him to get away with it. It's them. We got to look at them too, because they are the ones that are allowing him to escape his mandates, you know what I'm saying, maneuver around his mandates. Because why? Money, baby, money. You know, they tax on those belts every time you defend it. They get a percentage, so they get paid off of it. Of course, it's easy to blame Canelo. He's part of the blame, because if he wanted to make those defenses, that would make it happen. And we want that to happen as an observer of the sports. We want to see the best competition and the warrior spirit demonstrated from our fighters. But at the same time, he does not deserve the sole blame. You know, he's gonna do whatever they allow him to get away with. You know what I'm saying? They've been allowing him to get away with it. You know what I'm talking about? But most importantly, man, I want to talk about his fight with Munguia. Canelo versus Munguia is not Benavidez, right? So I'm a little disappointed. However, this notion that if Canelo doesn't fight Benavidez or Benavidez doesn't fight Canelo, neither one of them could be involved or participate in meaningful fights.
Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
That's a lie. Canelo versus Munguia is a good fight. I don't know what y'all been watching, but I've been watching Jaime Munguia, and Jaime Munguia to me is one of the most exciting fighters in boxing right now. Yes, his record off the top of my head, I think it's 43 or 44-0. Don't quote me. Somewhere in the 40s.
Damn. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm talking about? Yes, his record is mostly padded. Yes, it's mostly people that we haven't heard of. But he has a couple good guys in there too. You know, he fought Gabriel Rosado, who's a good, tough journeyman. Anybody has him on his resume as a win. That's a big salute to him. He's a warrior. You know what I'm saying? That's a big credit on your on your boxing record. Who else he has? He has Sergey Derevyanchenko. You know, we could name a couple. Most recently, John Ryder, who Canelo has in common. He has that opponent in common with Canelo, and he beat him in a better fashion than Canelo because he knocked him out, of course. Even though I don't really put too much stock in that because David Benavidez fought Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant survived the whole time. Canelo and Caleb Plant fought, and Canelo got Caleb Plant up out of there. So people conveniently want to make comparisons, but it's not apples to apples. I think mostly is that John Ryder, his style is tailor-made for somebody like Munguia, who throws a high volume of punches, who throws a large quantity of punches at a high frequency, at a high rate. So, you know, it's kind of tailor-made if somebody comes forward and, you know, for Munguia to look good. But at the same time, John Ryder, the Gorilla Ryder is a very formidable opponent, so that looks good. And then, so that's about it that he really has on his resume. I'm sure if I go and look, you know, it's like I said, it's just off the top of my head. I don't have Google right now. I'm not using Google as a reference. So, oh no, Takeshi Inoue. Takeshi or Takuma? Takeshi Inoue. Takuma Inoue is Naoya Inoue's younger brother, and Takeshi Inoue is the junior middleweight slash middleweight that has no relation to the Naoya Inoue and Takuma Inoue and Kiko Inoue. So Takeshi Inoue is a tough fighter, man. He has 2 losses. One to Tim Tszyu. His most recent loss was to Tim Tszyu, and his other was to Jaime Munguia, a young Jaime Munguia. So I want to say that Takeshi Inoue is a formidable opponent, man, a tough warrior. You know what I'm saying? He come to fight. And if you have not seen that fight, go watch that fight between Takeshi Inoue and Jaime Munguia. The reason why I highlight that too, I'm glad I thought about that, is because Takeshi is 5'8". Guess who else is 5'8"? Oh, Cinnamon. Oh, Cinnamon. You know, I'm talking about Cinnamon is 5'8". Canelo's 5'8". You know, and granted, this was younger. Munguia, it was at, I believe they fought at 154. So this is going to be lighter than what Munguia and Canelo will meet at. They'll meet at 168, but they both grown into those. Munguia has grown into that 168 weight class, you know what I'm saying? Or not really grown into it. He's already 6 foot, so that's where he's supposed to be. And, you know, Canelo's already at 168, so I think it'll be about the same thing. You know, as far as Takeshi Inoue is not as good as Canelo now. But I'm just talking about the size disparity, you know what I'm saying? Them being the same size at 168, and then the height disparity. And Takeshi Inoue, man, that was a really tough fight for Jaime Munguia. I remember, I think that was the first fight that I was really impressed by Jaime Munguia, the first fight I saw. I can't remember or recall, but you know, it's going to be a war, you know, and I think Canelo will win. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he won't, you know, do not get into it. Canelo is the heavy favorite, as he should be. But I see a lot of people saying that, oh, well, it sucks seeing a fight that's we already know the outcome and it's so predictable.
Shut up, bitch.
Most fights have a favorite. Like, what boxing do you watch? Most fights have a favorite, and some fights have upsets. In fact, coincidentally, there's a freaking category called Upset of the Year because upsets do occur in boxing. What are you watching? You know what I'm saying? So to say that Munguia doesn't have a chance, have you seen Munguia fight? Of course, he blocks with his face. And Canelo is, in my opinion, the 3rd pound for pound king of boxing right now. I think he's a legend, all-time great. If he stops boxing right now, I want to fight Benavidez. I repeat, I want him to fight Benavidez, but to act like there's no good fights for that involve Canelo that's not with Benavidez is asinine. I'm gonna watch this fight. I'm excited for this fight. You know, say good Lord willing, I see the day when May 4th when it happens. I'm gonna be tuned in because it's gonna be a good fight. But like I said, let's get back to the upsets. Was it Tyson versus Buster Douglas? Did anybody have Buster Douglas winning? No, that was an upset. What about Lennox Lewis versus Hasim Rahman, when Hasim Rahman packed up Lennox Lewis? Yes, Lennox Lewis came back and got his revenge and avenged his loss, but did anybody anticipate Rahman to pack up Lennox Lewis like that the first time? No, that was an upset. You see what I'm saying? Let's think about what about most recently? What about Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury? Yes, Tyson Fury won, so it wasn't an upset to the extent of a loss or winner. You know, the person that we thought would win won, but he did not win in the fashion that we thought he was gonna win. It was debatable. Some people had Ngannou winning. What about Spence and Crawford? No one, you know, I wouldn't really call that an upset. But the way it happened, the dismantling of Errol Spence by Terrence Crawford, no one anticipated that destruction, that domination. You know what I'm saying? What about Tim Bradley versus Pacquiao? Yes, I had Pacquiao winning. I had Pacquiao beating Tim Bradley the first time. It was quote unquote a robbery, but technically on paper, it was a close fight. Why? Because nobody expected Tim Bradley to hang in there and last as long as he did. In fact, Tim Bradley being in the Hall of Fame, shout out to Tim Bradley, is primarily because of his wins on who? Juan Manuel Marquez, a Hall of Famer, and Manny Pacquiao, a Hall of Famer. What about Floyd Mayweather and Maidana? Yes, Mayweather won, but nobody expected Maidana to put up such a good fight and make it a close fight. You know what I'm saying? So to act like all these things are just scripted and just already written, Munguia has some formidable opponents. He's a very exciting fighter. I don't think it's as good as Benavidez, of course, but to act like my boxing fandom and my boxing interest depends on one or two people fighting, it makes me question your fandom for real, how much you really love the sport, or how much you just want to see people do what you want them to do at the time that you want them to do it. Like, come on, man, that's not how life works. So I think Munguia versus Canelo is a good fight. I think Canelo versus Jamal Charlo is a good fight, as long as Jamal Charlo, you know what I'm saying, gets himself together and picks himself up from the hard times that he's been seeing, you know what I'm saying, and his mental lapses, and, you know, I believe he's been calling himself depressed and stuff like that. So once he gets back to his true form, I think Jamal Charlo versus Canelo is another good fight. You know what I'm saying? But are they as good as Benavidez? No, admittedly, no. They're not as good as Benavidez. But to act like there's no other fights that can be made that are interesting because it doesn't involve Canelo, Benavidez is a joke to me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Canelo go fight Benavidez. But in the meantime, in the interim, as long as you ain't fighting Jake Paul, I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? You better not fight Jake Paul. I bet not see that. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. As always, I'm in my workout room right now. You know what I'm saying? I know it look like I'm in jail. I promise I'm free. I'm free. You know what I'm saying? I'm free to do what I want. Thank God, man. But yeah, I appreciate y'all rocking with me as always, man. Love y'all for real. Let me know what y'all think about that. Am I tripping? Is Munguia and Canelo a foregone conclusion and you're not interested in it? My thing is, if you're not interested in that fight for real, don't play about it. Be about it. Boycott it. Boycott it. I bet you won't boycott it. You know why you won't boycott it? Because it's a damn good fight and you're interested in the outcome. You know what I'm talking about? And the results and how it goes on. You know what I'm saying? You're interested in what transpired between Munguia and Canelo in that square circle. That's just the facts, man. That's just a fact. So stop faking the funk. You know what I'm saying? You're not really disappointed. You're more disappointed that it's Canelo, that is not Canelo versus Benavidez than you are that it's Canelo versus Munguia. I think it's a good fight. So I appreciate your argument as always, man. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. There's all types of upsets that happen. Munguia could upset Canelo. Do I think he will? Hell no. I think Canelo's gonna handle business because he's great. But to act like upsets don't happen, I think that's disingenuous at best. We out. God bless. Love y'all. Peace. Remember, with God you can do anything. Without God we are nothing.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.